Hey everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 3, Episode 13, Unfashionable Behavior. Guys, I have a really good feeling that this is the episode where we actually find out what happens to Heather's eye. Just kidding. We will never find out, and I'm so angry that I ever cared at this point. I know in my heart that there is no answer that she could give that would ever be satisfying enough to warrant this long of a lead up. I can't even conjure something juicy enough to make it worth this wait. Here's my challenge for you guys. In the comments below, give me your best, juiciest story as to what happened to Heather's eye. Something that makes waiting this long worth it. Let's entertain ourselves. Because for me, I'm rooting for the spider eggs. While we're thinking up a really good story, what we're left with is a to be continued from last week, where Heather does everything she possibly can to make everyone believe that something very dramatic and noteworthy happened to give her a black eye, so that someone will ask her about it, so that she can say, I don't want to talk about it. The annoying wrench in this plan for Heather is that every once in a while, someone on their own will just suggest that she was really drunk and it was an accident. And that, even though it's literally her cover story, that is the last thing she wants anyone to believe. I would say Heather's sweet spot seems to be when others think that she might be a victim in an abusive relationship. Every time she says, I don't want to talk about it, she hopes that she's making it clear that she's protecting the person that gave her a black eye. And, honestly, guys, that is so messed up on many levels, but I really hope her daughters aren't watching, because she prides herself on being like a strong, independent woman for her daughters. Someone who champions them, thinking for themselves and making decisions for themselves and being responsible for their own futures. This behavior is kind of sickening. And I'm not sure what message that sends her daughters. So anyway, Whitney says to Heather, how did you get the black eye? Heather, I have a black eye? Oh, you're so funny. She's like, I thought it was covered up with makeup. And then to Jen, she says, you said it looked fine. Okay. I mean, she also makes it very clear to everyone that she's, consulting Jen. So if Jen didn't give it to her, Jen knows who did. What she says is, listen, I woke up with a horrible black eye. I couldn't open it. I have scratches and bruises all over my body. Oh, okay. If you're really trying to protect somebody, you're the worst at it. Because now you're embellishing that there are scratches and bruises all over your body. I mean, I know you keep gently showing us the ones on your arm. She even makes Jen go, and what, didn't I have something on my back? And Jen's like, yeah, there's like right here on your back, there's a scratch. I have no idea what this is, but it's annoying. Anyway, again, she looks at Jen and she goes, but we're still unsure of what happened. Like, why don't you just come out and say, Jen, are we still going with our story of we don't know what happened? Or are you ready to tell the truth? Because that's what she wants to say. Anyway, after a very long pause, she said, well, we have some theories. Staring at Jen, what do you think, CSI? Then someone says, do you think you fell? No, ma'am. No, sorry, that is not the road Heather wants to go down. Let's not come up with any crazy theories that I was just drunk and fell, okay? So Heather goes, well, we tried like 7 or 8 scenarios of different ways I could have fallen. But, I've got the scratches on my back too, and I don't want to talk about it. She literally says that again. Unfortunately for Heather, that works out perfectly because nobody else wants to talk about it either. This is the opportunity for Dana to say, well, then let's talk about Jen. I thought we had a good day. And Jen goes, girl, I let you drive me. I put my life in your hands, because they were sharing a go-kart together. Dana was driving. Dana, I know, but like this whole trip has been a little bit awkward for me. Gee, do you think it's because you weren't invited? Like specifically not invited by the host, but you came anyway? Could that be why it's a little awkward? Dana, but I want to be really real with you, Jen. Okay, here we go. Dana would like to be real with Jen, right here on a TV show before her trial. Someone I know shared something with me, and I just want to be real with you. Jen goes, who? Dana, someone that I trust that I've known for a very long time. Jen, who? Dana, they know someone that worked for you, and they said that the work you do is very sketchy. Jen, who? I mean, first of all, saying that her company's work is very sketchy. I mean, is that supposed to be a bombshell? I think we all kind of know that at this point. Then Dana says, and they pleaded guilty, to whatever the allegations are, and now they're an informant. And they told me to be really careful. Oh, great. And so I can see that you're taking their advice. Did they tell you not to go on a girls' trip that Jen Shah planned after Jen Shah told you you weren't invited? Is that how you're being careful, Dana? Anyway, Jen says what has become like a Housewives trope now. It's one of those things that across all franchises, it seems to be a thing that Housewives say. I don't know if everybody's saying this in the real world or not in my world, but it's this threat of you better be very careful about what you're about to say. This threatening somebody before they've said anything to watch themselves. It's like, I feel like this was just said on Beverly Hills. It definitely sounds like something Erica would threaten Crystal with, maybe. All these women who have trials coming up are threatening the other ladies with, you better be very careful about the next words that are going to come out of your mouth. Anyway, this time it's Jen threatening Dana. And she says, be very careful what you say right now. If you want to bring it, then bring it to the finish line, baby. And Dana goes, I know, but I can't say it. I almost understand Jen at this point because, first of all, anything said here can be used in court. So, yes, be very careful what you say. And secondly, you're going to tell me somebody said something and not tell me who? No. Jen goes, if you can't say who, then you shouldn't have brought it up. So now Jen gets very loud and attacky. Dana's trying to pretend that she brought it up because things were awkward with her and Jen. And what? This was going to be an icebreaker? I know things have been awkward. Let me extend an olive branch by telling you that I know somebody who used to work for you and is now an informant for the FBI. Things less awkward now. Also, aren't you guys leaving tomorrow morning? You need to get real now? Why? Is it because we forgot you were here? I get it. She doesn't have her own storyline. There's no real reason for her to be here on this show, right? So now Jen's yelling innocent until proven guilty at the table. She gets up, she walks away, and Heather follows her because, nobody's talking about her eye. So the remaining ladies sitting at the table start to discuss Jen. They're explaining to Dana that, you know what? It's Housewives, baby. This is how we roll here. You don't call everybody out on everything. This is just what we do. And if you can't be like that, then maybe you can't hang. And I'm guessing she can't. I truly don't think she's going to be asked back next year. Oh, guys, I'm not even sure I'm going to be asked back next year. I don't know where we go. I'm very sorry that I didn't recap season 2 because that was during my move and, I took a hiatus. But I would much rather have recapped that every episode. I did start. I started with the first 3 episodes. But that was much better, juicier. And we still hit Mary Cosby. God, I miss her. You cannot replace her with a couple of Angies and a Dana. All 3 of those women are half of a Mary Cosby. So I don't know about the future of Salt Lake City for me. Anyway, they're basically explaining Housewives without saying this is what we do on Housewives. They're telling Dana, if you're someone that just is trying to get the truth out there all the time, yeah, this might not be the right fit for you. That's kind of my assessment of this conversation. Meanwhile, in the bathroom, things are a little more interesting. Oh, first I should say that Meredith is like, I'm leaving too. I think I've had enough, to be honest with you. And literally, no one even looks at her when she gets up and leaves from the table. So I think they're good with it, Meredith. So anyway, Meredith finds Jen and Heather in the bathroom. Jen's reapplying makeup and still ranting. She's like, you want to talk about me and my family? Side note, nobody really said a word about your family, so... Jen, I don't even know the bitch, other than the fact that she has gray hair. Of course. Oh, could there be a more egregious offense to a housewife than letting your grays show? I don't think so. Well, maybe not getting Botox. Maybe that would actually be a worse offense. Apparently, 2 hours earlier, Jen... This is why I love to hate her. Jen gave Dana a box of hair dye, under the guise of it being like a girl bonding moment, as though Dana didn't realize she had gray hair or didn't know what to do about it. So Jen's going to help her with a box color. So out at the table, Dana said, the person that told me said that Jen knew exactly what they were doing when the allegations happened. There's not going to be like FBI involved, multiple people pleaded guilty. Oh, God, stop saying pleaded. They're not going to come this hard if she's innocent, okay? I mean, she's not wrong. I think everybody knows that, too. This is the elephant in the room that nobody is going to say out loud, except a rookie like Dana. So Whitney said, what happens if she's found guilty? And Lisa's like, oh, I can't even go there. And Angie K's like, well, this is what people have been asking me. And, I don't know. And Whitney said, my answer to it is if she is proven guilty, then I will probably have to sit across an awkward conversation, but I am willing to go and have a conjugal visit. I shouldn't even smile at that because I feel like she knows what a conjugal visit is and she's trying to play that dumb role. I don't know. She loves Marilyn Monroe. And as we know, Marilyn Monroe was actually a very intelligent woman and her persona was the dumb blonde. And I don't know if she's emulating her or channeling her inner Marilyn, but the others do try to explain to her that a conjugal visit means that she would actually be having sex with Jen. And Whitney goes, well, now that was the funniest part of it. Maybe. So you guys, back in the bathroom, this is where things are juicy. Heather, I'm almost sad for Heather because she's so obvious, but Heather suggests to Jen when they go back to the table that all Jen needs to do to shut everybody up is say, how did Heather really get that black eye? Heather, who doesn't want to talk about it. And Jen goes, yeah, let's do that. Come on, Jen. Yes, what a great idea. And Heather, what a sacrifice you're willing to make to help Jen by changing the subject so that people start talking about your eye again, which you don't want to talk about. So selfless. Heather's like, yeah, they're going to go zip and we're not going to tell them. You know why? Because they don't deserve to know. Because they already do, and they just want us to say it out loud. What? You guys, it's sad because of course she's projecting her own wishes. I wonder if she thinks that she's subliminally getting Jen to finally be the one to come out with it. Maybe part reverse psychology, part lesser of two evils. Hey, tell them what you did to my eye and then they won't be talking about your trial. I don't know, but Heather is desperate at this point. She is desperately trying to do everything she can to keep the conversation on her eye and to get Jen to be the one to say what happened. And it's it's hard. It's, she's like wrangling puppies here. But also, she said this in front of Meredith, who now in her confessional said, wait, what? She's now just hearing Heather saying all this stuff out loud. Like, we won't tell them, will we, Jen? They don't deserve to know because they already know. I mean, was that for Meredith? Maybe Heather said that pointedly because Meredith and Angie K, I guess, were there at the time that Jen punched her. And they're also pretending they don't know what happened. So maybe that was like a little, I don't know, a little message for Meredith. You were there when this happened and you're acting like you don't know either. Listen, Heather would be happy with any of the other three saying what happened. She just doesn't want it to be her. But Heather's not done coaching Jen on what to say at the table. Now she says, say it at the end because that's going to put the fear of God in some of them. Say, you know what? She pushed me, guys, and I'll tell you exactly how the black eye happened. What? Is Heather trying to coach Jen into threatening the other ladies with a black eye of their very own if they don't stop talking about her trial on national TV before her actual trial? Please tell me Jen is not dumb enough to fall for this. And does Heather realize how damaging that actually would be to Jen before her trial to threaten physical violence? I mean, I feel like Heather does know that, and that's pretty bad. Yeah. Heather's not done talking. She's like, yeah, somebody will panic. You and me, though, I'm loyal to the core. Snitches get what? Stitches. Yeah. Heather Gay, straight out of Compton. What are you doing? So in Meredith's confessional, she's like, I'm so confused at this point. I wish Heather would just say who hit her. It's unsettling not knowing. Meredith, come on, man. You're a smart woman. I think Heather's being pretty clear, and I don't know how you can interpret it any other way. Anyway, those three finally returned to the table to join the others. Lisa. Jen, listen, what we were saying when you were gone was, we were saying Jen is innocent until proven guilty. Oh, you mean the thing that Jen said right before she left? You guys the whole time were just repeating that like a little mantra to yourselves? Innocent until proven guilty. And then I guess she was kind of saying that like they were telling Dana that we got to know Jen and like you need to get to know her. And Jen goes, so Dana, when she said that to you, you still think that you're a mystery person? Like you're still questioning me? And Dana goes, I'm not questioning you. I'm being honest with you. So it's 4:01 a.m. right now. Don't know how it got to be that late. And Lisa's like, guys, I love you so much. You're the one that didn't even want to come to this dinner. Now I love you all so much. Anyway, she's got to go catch a flight. She says her goodbyes. Heather's like, I love you too. Lisa, I love you, Heather. Okay, whatever. I feel like I'm missing something because Lisa sat down to that dinner, angry that Heather and the others were talking about her SEC filing. Now they love each other. So that's fine. I'm happy for them. So Whitney kind of almost whispers to Heather now, Heather, you know what happened to your eye. But Heather's just ignoring her and, doesn't address it. And everybody gets up and they're all getting ready, or they all go to bed because they're leaving the next day. Okay, guys, we are back in Salt Lake City. I don't know how long we were in San Diego, but I do know that Whitney's children are now in college. Not Lisa's, though. No. Jack is still mulling it over. He's not sure college is something he wants to dabble in. At Meredith's house, her very low-energy children are going through Brooks's lookbook because the fashion show fundraiser is tonight. Meredith is like, hey, guys. And Brooks and Chloe are like, hey. Brooks is stressed because, if that's Brooks stressed out, Brooks in a normal state must be like comatose because he looks pretty chill right now. Anyway, he's very stressed out because people prepare for years in advance for what he's doing in 48 hours. Even Meredith is like, well, I don't know that they prepare years in advance, but maybe months. Side note, why does he only have 48 hours? Because I know he was told about this thing at least a month ago. I think it's because he's going to college and working on this collection. Anyway, apparently Meredith gets a text right then from Whitney saying that she can't make it tonight because it's Bobby's birthday party. She had to move it to that night because of weather or something. I don't know. But she is sorry she can't be there and she would like to make a donation. And her daughter Chloe's like, well, that's nice. And then she's like, I don't know what Heather's status is, so I don't know if she's going to make it. But the whole Shaw family will be there. Chloe, is there anyone you're not excited about that's coming? Meredith, well, Lisa Barlow bought a ticket. I'm curious how she interacts with you guys. Don't worry, if I see that she's talking to you, I'll come and rescue you. And Chloe says, just tell her that you've come to rescue your garbage trash daughter. That's kind of funny. Okay, next we have Heather visiting Angie H's house. Yes, Angie H is still on the show. Yay! Heather's eye is healing, but it is still like there's a bruise underneath. So this is kind of ruling out like an eye infection, right? Because there wouldn't be like a greenish purple bruise on the, like on her cheekbone right there. Unless... Is Heather friends with Amber Heard? She could have gotten lessons with makeup. Do you guys remember the Johnny Depp trial when Amber Heard accidentally said, oh, this is what I call my bruise makeup? She was showing this palette that she uses, she said, to cover bruises, and come to find out that the palette she was holding is what like makeup artists use to create a bruise, like for a movie or something. Yeah. Uh-oh, Amber. Oops. So that's what's going on below Heather's eye right now. Anyway, I guess Angie H was at Whitney's Wild Rose party. That was not filmed. Well, it was. We saw some footage of it, but Heather wasn't there. Lisa wasn't there. It may have gotten cut from the show because really it was just Whitney and the two Angies and Dana. Anyway, Angie H was saying that these ladies were filling her in on what happened in San Diego. And Heather goes, it's just a dumb black eye. Angie H, what happened? You don't have any recollection? Oh, don't say that. She will let you know that she absolutely knows what happened. But Heather goes, no, Angie H, being a good friend, like a true good friend to Heather, says, tell me if I'm wrong, but there's a part of me that feels like you're protecting someone. Oh, good job, Angie H. That's exactly how Heather wanted you to say it. So Angie H goes, so the last people that saw you were, and Heather goes, it was Meredith, me, Angie K, and Jen. Angie Harrington. Why did you say Jen's name last? I mean, somebody's name had to be last. Heather just said, I was just listing off who was there. And then Angie H, while stuffing her face with what can only be considered as another charcuterie board for Heather, she goes, well, I'm very concerned. And if somebody did this to you, nobody's okay with that. And Heather goes, I feel that. Angie H, will you ever tell me? Heather, no. Then in Heather's confessional, we have a producer asking her, is there a part of you that hopes that somebody else will say it? 100%. Or are you hoping that it never gets said out loud? Heather, I just hope it goes away. Right after everyone finds out that it was Jen. Okay, now we're over at Whitney's house and she's going through some old photos and decides to call her brother Curtis. So Curtis asks her if she's like starting to remember parts of her childhood, now that she's kind of like going through it. And she said, not really, but like some things are, coming back to her. She asks Curtis, how do you deal with the past? And he tells her basically he just thinks about the future because that's what he can control and that's where he's headed. And that, that's probably what she needs to focus on. And she said that she thinks that her personal growth and her healing has caused her and Heather to grow apart. And she hopes that, at some point they can come back together. Next, we are at Jen's house, and she is having a teletherapy appointment with her therapist, Ernest. She tells him that she's having trouble sleeping and she's depressed. She's very anxious, but mostly she's very worried about her children and Sharif, her family. She's like, have I done something like as a mom to affect Omar? Of course you have. You've done something illegal and morally wrong, in my opinion. It's very public, and you're probably going to go to jail. So yeah, your actions are affecting your poor children. Ernest basically tells her that, the boy's only concern is you because they love you. I guess maybe she was asking like if she was hurting her relationship with her children or something. And Ernest was assuring her that she's not because they love her. They're concerned for her. They want her safe. They want her at home, all that. That's fine, and that's probably true, but also she's hurting them. It's hurting them in other ways. It might not be hurting their relationship with her, but it's like Teresa Giudice and her daughters. They love their mother, but I don't think she's made good choices in her life for her daughters. I think she's said things in her life that have caused her daughters pain in other areas of their life. And Jen, the things that your company has done, that's not good for your kids. Or Sharif, if he doesn't know anything about it, although I think there's questions about what he did now. But the other person I feel sorry for is her mom. Didn't her mom give money for the lawyers and all that? What a mess. Anyway, Ernest tells her that basically the best thing she can do for her children right now is to hold it together. Just keep herself together and keep telling them she's okay so that they don't worry about her so much. And really, at this point, the damage is done. And that probably is really all she can do for them, to not make it any worse. Next, Meredith and her entire family are arriving at the Utah Museum of Contemporary Art. This is the venue where the fashion show fundraiser is going to be. And of course, her sister and her nephew, who this is really all about, their foundation, they're there, and her niece. Brooks is going to be showing his new line of sweat clothes. Meredith has her jewelry is going to be in this. And there's a lot of new up and coming designers who are going to be showing their collections. And then a ton of people who are volunteering their time and services, makeup and hair people and stuff like that. The first housewives to arrive are Dana and Angie K. And Dana's like, so how's everything, since our girls' trip? Meredith goes, well, it was a lot. I'll be totally blunt with the two of you. I'm not angry with either of you, but I'm a little disappointed. Bravo starts an I'm not angry count in the corner. So basically, Meredith tells them that she wasn't thrilled that Angie K went and talked to Lisa right before their dinner after they were talking about her SEC filing. Because Meredith is like, we were all going to be together at dinner, so we could have talked about it together. So she doesn't like that she went to privately in her room tell her about it. And Angie K goes, well, in hindsight, I should have said the conversation made me uncomfortable. Meredith is like, noted. No one should ever speak negatively about someone in front of you. Got it. Oh, I'm not mad. Of course you're not. But also, sorry, Angie K, for something that made you so uncomfortable, you're the one that brought it up in the van. That conversation happened at the winery. In the van, you said, so now, just so I'm clear, explain this SEC filing thing to me. So, yeah, you wanted to get the story right for when you came back to Lisa with it. Sorry. By the way, we're up to 5 on the I'm not mad scale. Okay, then the Shaws arrive, although it's just Coach and Jen. I didn't see the boys anywhere. And then I think Lisa Barlow in, could it be Balenciaga that she's wearing? Yeah, because it says Balenciaga all over these silk pajamas. In Lisa's confessional, she said, I know Meredith doesn't like me, but I showed up for her sister and her nephew, and because it is a very good cause. This is for mental health, and that's very important. And it starts with kindness. And then in Meredith's confessional, she said, I'm not surprised Lisa showed up. I think it's for appearances because it's a charity, and I think Lisa thinks it would look good for her to be here. So, sounds like their friendship's progressing nicely. Okay, so Jen says to Coach, I see Angie K and Sean over there. So do you have the check? And he said, yeah, I do. She goes, all right, because I just want to get this over with. Apparently, Jen had asked Angie for an invoice for Coach's party. And then we see the itemized list. How is catering so cheap? $2,400 for catering? The bartender alone is $3,600. Ooh, and cleaning is down to $400. I thought cleaning was $500, Angie. Is it because after they left, you had to get on your hands and knees and scrub that floor? And I'm sorry, what is with the ambiguous additional assistance, $400? I would want to know what that was. Anyway, everything adds up to $13,647.96. Exactly. Side note, didn't she say it was $25,000 before? Did she say $15,000? I can't remember. I feel like it was more than $13,000, but maybe not. Okay, now we cut to Angie K and Lisa holding hands for some reason. Lisa. So what happened at Whitney's party? I'm sorry I had to miss it. Angie K. Lisa, you should probably be sitting down because you'll be in complete shock. But Angie H showed up and she shared that Jen reached out to her on FaceTime and tried to mend things with her. Okay, I mean, she's not wrong. That's shocking. I don't get why Lisa would be so shocked, but I guess because maybe Angie H was the common enemy of Lisa and Jen, and now Jen is reaching out to her. But Angie K and Dana were standing there with Lisa, and both of them were very eager to give that piece of gossip to Lisa. So neither one of them are coming back, right? At least we have that to look forward to. It was just a mistake. It was like the twins on Jersey. Everyone makes mistakes, but we don't need to repeat it next year, right? So Angie K is like, this is the woman who has pushed you to the brink of wanting to take your own life. Look, it is shocking. I'm surprised Jen did it, and I don't know why. Dana, I called bullshit from day one. Did you, Dana? Did you? Because you weren't here day one. She's not a good person, and she's not a good friend. Well, yeah. I think we all know that, Dana. Stop acting like you're lead detective on the case. You know what's funny, you guys? Not since Barbara Kay on Roni have I disliked a new person as much as I dislike Dana. And can I just tell you, I have come around to liking Barbara Kay. So I'm not saying I'm going to end up liking Dana. I'm just saying, who knows? So Lisa has a confessional that is pretty damning to Jen. At least the most damning I've seen anybody's confessional so far. She just says, you lie to me and your relationships. You know, I'm going with the innocent until proven guilty with Jen. And until somebody says otherwise, I believe you're innocent. But you lie all the time. And you lie in our friendship life. Why would I not believe that you could lie in your work life? Yeah, I think that's what we're all saying out here. Okay, so it's time for the show to start. Angie K and Sean are sitting almost directly across the aisle from Jen and Coach. And she hasn't given her the check yet. It's awkward. There's like smiles across the aisle. I don't know if Sean is smiling or even looking, but Angie K does kind of stand up in a, like a little crouch and just a brief little, just pop over to give a little hug and then goes back to her seat. Meredith then gets up to give a speech. Side note, this is so shady of me, but how small is this venue? And it's not even that full. I feel like there's about 40 people in attendance. And, like Brooks is sitting there out in the audience. So I have a feeling they needed to fill those seats with bodies. Because isn't the designer normally in the back? Oh, maybe this was when it was someone else's collection, I guess. But honestly, I feel like there's about 40 people, and that's being generous. I hope they have deep pockets because this really is an important charity, I believe. Okay, so Brooks is branching out a little bit from just sweatsuits. And Jen has fallen in love with this outfit right here. Jen's like, oh, I want that. I need that. I need that. Jen, I have some good news and bad news. The bad news is with all the money your family has spent on lawsuits, you can't afford that outfit. The good news is I can make it for you. I just need a black blazer from a thrift shop, a roll of masking tape, and a red Sharpie. I will have that to you in 5 minutes. Okay, so the show is over. And now Jen and Sharif go and find Angie K and Sean. Coach is the one to, speak to them because he just has that gentle, soothing way. And basically, he just apologizes for any misunderstanding, said he didn't realize that anything was owed, and so he wants to just make certain now that nothing is outstanding. And so here's a check. Angie K. Guys, it's really less about the paper than I have a lot of respect for both of you. I love both of you guys. I love your family. I was hurt by some things. And Coach, to his credit, said, yeah, we were too. Badly. And then he goes, it hurt me that we had a debt. I didn't understand that to be the case. But I wanted to make sure tonight that we made that right. Then we see a copy of the check, and it's for $12,366.90. But wasn't the invoice for $13,647.96? Why aren't they paying $1,281.06? Are they disputing the charge for something? Was it the octopus and alcohol? In Jen's confessional, she goes, I got off cheap. I just hope Coach doesn't find out that I spent $80,000 on Meredith's birthday party and only $13,000 on him. In Angie K's confessional, she says, all I know is I'm going to run to the bank after this event and cash that check before the government freezes her accounts. I have nothing but love and respect for both of you and your family. Sure you do. Okay, now we are at Whitney's house, and hold on to your hats, Heather has come over. It's very awkward. She has a gift for Bobby. Yeah, so they go out to the fire pit to sit and talk. And I guess Whitney has invited Heather over because she thanks her for coming. And Heather said, well, thank you for asking me. Whitney says, I've been worried about you, Heather. You know what? I have too. And I know I keep saying this, and I've said it like all these episodes, but something's going on with Heather. Early on, I could just sense that she was not herself, and I thought it had more to do with the Mormon church leaving or how it's affecting her family relationships. Maybe I was kind of right about that. And then, Whitney's her cousin. And so if she's having this distance now with Whitney too, Heather might just be feeling very isolated, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. And the thing about the eye, I don't know what that is. That's strange. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. It has nothing to do with Whitney. Heather's just been really off this whole season. So Heather says something about, I'm surprised I didn't think you cared about me or something like that. And Whitney said, just because I'm mad at you or we're in a weird space, I never stopped caring about you, Heather. And Heather goes, well, yeah, that's what's confused me because I never thought you stopped caring about me. But then to come to find out that we're on a friendship break, that just felt like a stab in the heart. Whitney tells her that, the friendship break wasn't meant to hurt her. That was just Whitney's way of taking a breath to kind of process everything that's been going on between the two of them. Whitney says she just feels like she's been chasing Heather down. And Heather goes, chasing me down? You don't even know what's been going on in my life. You don't even know what happened to my eye. Oh, God. Did she just bring up her stupid eye again? Wow. The one she doesn't want to talk about. So Whitney goes, I want to know this. Do you really not remember? Because you said you don't remember. You said, I don't want to talk about it. You said you've been assaulted. And you said someone knocked on your door at 4 a.m. and don't answer the door. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Heather's laughing because it's all just so funny to her and true and part of the mystery of the eye, she says. She loves that she's created a mystery around her black eye. What are you, just bored, Heather? Is that what's happening? So Whitney goes, did somebody do that to you, Heather? After a long pause, of course, gotta have that dramatic pause, she finally says, I don't think that's even the conversation we should be having. It's unimportant, Whitney. I'm concerned. I know the pressure that you've been under. You're a single mom and you're writing a book and you have a business to run, plus leaving the church. And I know what trauma that can cause. You and Jen were having the best time ever. Extremely intoxicated. Tops off. Carcass out. Heather, that's right. Jen's boob did it. Force of nature, Whitney, who's very unamused by Heather's stupid little comments. She says, why won't you tell me, Heather? Did you black out? Oh, no. Don't suggest that, Heather, right away. I remember how I got it, and other people know how I got it too, Whitney. So why do those people know and I don't? Okay, so Whitney took it like Heather confided in other people, but didn't confide in her. I don't think that's what Heather meant. I think Heather was trying to say other people witnessed it themselves and or other people were the ones that did this to my eye. Like those people know what happened to my eye. But Whitney took it, I think, a little bit different. Like, you're leaving me out of things. And so Heather kind of ran with that, I think. Because Heather goes, well, because we were on a friendship break. And honestly, I don't know if I would tell you, Whitney, because the trust has been broken, Whitney. I'm sorry that you don't feel like you can trust me with it, but I want you to know that you can. I'm not going to hurt you or use it against you. I'm a safe place for you, Heather. And Heather said, I just think the whole friendship break was a pretty experience for me, and I don't think you really care. So Heather basically says that she thinks that Whitney thinks she can, go on a friendship break and Heather will just be there when she's ready to come back and be bad weather again with her. And Heather's here to tell her, no, ma'am, that's not how it works. When you break something, it's broken and it's never as strong as it was. Heather is actually really hurt, I think. I think that's what's going on here. I don't think Heather knows how to be vulnerable, or maybe she's uncomfortable showing that, and so she resorts to jokes and stuff. She thinks Whitney wanted to get in good with Lisa Barlow and them, and she sacrificed her friendship with Heather to do it, thinking that Heather was going to be fine with it, and that when she comes back to Heather, Heather's just going to be there ready and waiting and fine. And everything's just as good as it ever was between them. And I think Heather wants to punish her for that, at least for a little while. Now she gets really passive aggressive, Heather, and she said, I'm really sad that bad weather was such a rain cloud over your head. So be free, young Whitney. I will not hold you back any longer. And Whitney goes, I want bad weather back. I think we're stronger together. And Heather said, well, I think that you are, making assumptions that I was just going to be okay with it. And I don't think that's fair. So let's just love each other and give each other space. And that is how this episode ended. Kind of sad. But at least we found out what happened to Heather's. Oh, yeah. No, we still don't know what happened to the eye. I'm still asking you guys to come up with your best ideas. I don't want realistic ideas. I want you to tell me right now, what would be the best story that would make all the waiting worth it? Get creative. I need some enjoyment here, people. I know. I will read the 5 best, if 5 of you do this. I'll read the 5 best ones next week so that we can all just have fun with this eye thing. All right? Next week's the season finale. Even when people are hating a season of Housewives, this happened, unfortunately, with the last season of The Real Housewives of New York. I still can find the funny. I can find the joy. I get amusement out of it, all of that. You guys can complain all you want in the comments. That's fine. But I hate to complain to you guys about it, because I want to be the one that makes it better for you. And in doing so, it makes it more fun for me too. So I hate that I'm struggling, and I hate that I'm feeling oh, thank God next week is the finale. But with next week being the finale and then reunions, could there be 3 reunions? Maybe they're just going to do 2. You know, Jen Shah's not even going to be there at the reunions. So what could they talk about? Heather's eye? I really don't see how they can stretch it into 3, but even if they do, I can't tell you how much I am looking forward to recapping New Jersey. And that is starting in February. So you guys, we have that to look forward to. And I hope that you guys are enjoying these recaps. Obviously, I want you guys to be happy. I want you guys to have fun with these shows as much as I do. So I hope I'm making these fun for you. But if you're not, just know that we have New Jersey to look forward to. So I'm like super excited about that. And you know, if you are enjoying this season, I would love to hear from you. Tell me what's your favorite part of it. What do you like? And who's your favorite housewife of Salt Lake City? And because I'm not hearing a lot of that. I'm not getting a lot of that in the comments, but you know, I love positivity. By all means, tell me what your favorite part of this season is. I think that's it for me. As always, if you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. If you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please consider doing so. Please click the bell icon if you would like to have a notification every time I have a new video post. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.